So the biggest pitfall here is that the vast majority of overalls, they focus their experience around making users capable of earning money online. But social casino or coin master, for instance, they are looking for users who want to spend money, not earn money.
How do you pick an offer wall for your app? Hello and welcome to Growth Masterminds. Offer walls can boost your revenue. They can encourage more in-app purchases. They can even promote higher retention when you use them right. But how do you do that? Today we're chatting with two experts on offer walls. Alex Hrankin is the CEO of Scrambly, which offers offer walls, and Massimo Caroli is the founder of MAF, an ad network that also has an offer wall. Welcome, guys. It's a question that I had never actually really considered. Explain it to me like I'm five. I mean, an offer wall sounds like it's pretty simple, right? It's a wall. It's got offers on it. Why do I need a tool to build an offer wall? Maybe Alex, you kick off with that one.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, thanks a lot, John, for having us. And I think a lot of companies nowadays talk about the importance and also the value that reward inventory brings, and that a lot of UA people want to discover untapped audiences because the big tech players, they are hard to buy inventory from because of different factors, macroeconomics, competition, creatives, and else. And everybody wants to find alternative ways to drive their user acquisition. And the big new thing that is popping up nowadays is rewarded, essentially. And reward inventory, I'm just going to say a couple of words about what this is and why people have this reasoning why to go to an offer wall. So an offer wall, essentially, it's a platform that rewards users for different activities. Those might be installing apps, completing various levels in different games, or making a purchase, signing up to different services and apps. And on the other side of things, on the B2B side of things, an offer wall is a user acquisition solution that various companies, brands, agencies, else use to acquire new audiences for their apps or games. And essentially, the idea is pretty much the same across all the offer walls, but advertisers hear all the same things from all the same offer walls. However, they do not consider the pitfalls. The pitfalls or what to look at when choosing an offer wall.
Cool. And so let's dive into that. Let's dive into that a little later. Let's bring Massimo in right now, because I mean, one of the things that you do in an offer wall is UA, right? And there's two sides to that. But Massimo, another thing is monetization, correct?
Exactly. Yeah. Thanks for having us, first of all. And yeah, definitely monetization is really important. So think about all the different places in your app or game where you can have ads, essentially. There is a limited amount of placement you can have in your app if you want to monetize with ads. And I think offer wall are really important because first of all, they are opt-in, meaning that it's up to the user to decide when and where they want to interact with the ads, essentially. So it's like giving back the control over the ads in your app. These have been proven to create like a positive habits in the user, and has been proven to drive not only monetization but also retention, which is very important. I think you should definitely consider the downside of the retention rate if you're just pushing too much ads into your app. So having the user opting in for ads, it's really important in my point of view.
So it's super interesting, right? I mean, we'll focus on the monetization side for just a second here. Hey, you want to install an offer wall, you want to put that up on your app, you want to make some additional money, you don't want to kill your user experience and throw too many ads in front of people that don't want them, but you do have to direct them there. You do have to let them know that such a thing exists. The offer wall is there, and they can go to it. What are the best ways of doing that?
So there are different strategies. The easiest would be placing an offer wall button in your store. If you have an in-app store, essentially most of the store are featuring now like daily rewards. So users have to log in into the game or app, get to the store every day to unlock the reward. So one common strategy is just placing a button below that essentially will offer a chance to the user, an opportunity to earn more coins, ingot, gold, whatever currency your game has, by engaging with brands, being it another game or app or whatever. So that's the common strategy. I guess it's also very important the timing that you show an offer wall to the user, you show this opportunity. So let's say you run out of coins, for example. If you have data on a user, you definitely know if they're willing to purchase or not because they've been exposed to that in the past. And if they're not willing to do an in-app purchase, which is probably 95% of your audience, let's be real, you definitely have to give them another opportunity. For years, these have been rewarded videos, but we know rewarded videos as a cap, let's say 4 or 5 videos per session. So you need to mix and match the strategy with different alternative monetization solutions. One is offer wall, one is audio ads, and rewarded videos have been there for a while.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's go back to Alex. Alex, you're talking about, hey, everybody talks about let's have an offer wall, let's do an offer wall. It's great to have, awesome, wonderful. You said actually there's some potential downsides to having an offer wall. And you say that as somebody who offers an offer wall. What are potential downsides?
Yeah, absolutely. So offer walls, they all offer a selection of different games or apps to do some in-app actions and then get some rewards. So the biggest pitfall here is that the vast majority of offer walls, they focus their experience around making users capable of earning money online. So in this case, a potential advertiser, whoever this is, it might be mid-core social casino advertiser, would be acquiring users who are solely interested in making money. But imagine that, social casino or coin master, for instance, they are looking for users who want to spend money, not earn money. That's the main pitfall. So here, the first question is, what is this audience about? Where they acquire this audience? What is their average demographics? What is their average income, etc.? And how they engage with this audience? What is the communication to the end user? Because if the offerable is communicating to their user base, hey, this is a get paid to website, or hey, make money online. So they're going to be attracting a ton of users who are interested only in making money. So this is the first thing. Secondly, they need to understand how they segment their users, because if you are exposing your game to users who want rewards only, you are paying a CPI to a user who's going to be getting those rewards, and they're going to be churning. So the biggest problem with incentivized and rewarded inventory, loyalty inventory, they all use this word loyalty, but eventually it's the same thing. The biggest pitfall is that everybody, like IEP titles, they all have a very long payback period, 365 days, 180 days, etc. And you're going to be looking at this ROAS progression, and there's going to be a huge dip after day 30. Why? Because the rewards run out. So the platform, the offerable or loyalty incentivized solution should be matching the right users with the right apps by collecting their user data and by focusing their user acquisition strategies towards users that are more likely to make an in-app purchasing, that are more likely to stick with the games they are promoting within their offerable interface. So that's the DM.
That's a powerful argument. You advertise for people who just want to make money, but you actually want people who will spend money. I have to laugh at a lot of these ads that I see out there. I have one of my favorite games, and sometimes I'll look at a rewarded video and there's these ads, and there's this poor single mother, and she's making $1,000 a month off this app, right? I'm going like, seriously, is anybody believing this? Come on, it's like, I'll just download an app and then I made $60. I'll just download an app and I made $1,000. Who actually believes these things? I don't know, but it's probably not the users who are going to spend money in your app. Super interesting. Massimo, Alex is talking from the perspective of using offer walls for user acquisition and for loyalty. You're talking about offer walls from the perspective of monetizing in your app. What are some of the things that are working and not working about monetization in your app in offer walls?
Definitely. So yeah, no, I totally agree with you. Like those type of ads will probably attract users that at the end of the day, they're there just for the bounty, and they're not going to be long-term player for your game. So essentially, I think you don't have, while you're designing like an offer for an offer wall, you need to think, you don't have to make the rookie mistakes that anything will work just because you're giving them rewards, you're giving them bounties. Not what's going to happen. So you need to design the whole user experience as smooth and intuitive. It's essentially, you need to take care of the early step in the funnel. So your user needs to have a quick feedback that they're getting rewarded, quick feedback that everything is working as expected. You cannot expect them to jump from your game to another game and then get a feedback after 10 days or so. So the early, the better, definitely, to keep them engaged. And what we encountered essentially is that you said that before, you want players that stick for a long time, so loyal players. So actually, they are playing a game, they need to have fun in the end. They don't need to feel this like as a task or a work or something boring they need to do to get the coins. So essentially, I think it's really important that you craft the funnel with some checkpoints that you know are milestone in your game. For example, if you know that by level 10, you're unlocking a special mechanism in your game, you should probably target that as a solid point. And also having some, we call this bonus mission. So something that is just outside of the general progression of the game. Let's say join a guild or invite a friend to the game or any other live ops or special event you have for Christmas or whatever, on any other event you're doing in the game. I think essentially you need to make the player feel like they are part of a ecosystem. You want them to get more deep into the game, but also get into the game economy, no?
Okay, Alex, let's say somebody wants to actually get an offer wall in their app, and they have 50 companies that are saying, hey, pick an offer wall, here's our offer wall, go for it. What do they need to look at? What are the criteria they need to look at to pick the right one?
John, just so in the same page, are you talking about getting an offer wall to monetize our like an app, or get an offer wall to drive UA for?
I'm talking about the publisher who's putting an offer wall inside their app. What are the criteria they should look at for that?
Absolutely. So essentially, like our company, Scrambly, is a loyalty app, and there are external offerable solutions that are always coming to us and saying, hey, you want to just add up an additional cash flow, an additional monetization method, etc., put our offerable in. Even though we are not really doing that, because we have the same type of concepts within our app, which is direct and in-house. However, the things that I'm always curious about to ask are, first of all, RPMs, RPCs, how much revenue we're going to be generating out of 1,000 impressions or clicks, etc. But things that are more interesting for me to share about is how this offerable is going to be natively integrated within the context of our community, within the context of our app, how we are going to personalize user experience, user interface with our app, that it doesn't feel external, it doesn't feel something that is not native within the experience of our app. Additionally, I'm going to be talking about personalizing this offerable in a way that it looks like 100% embedded and as if it was a part of our app overall, that it doesn't have these like multiple hopes or pop-ups or this modal windows, like something that feels natural to the user base. Additionally, we are investing a lot into our live ops, internal marketing, email marketing, etc. So users, they're expected to get some kind of a bonus when they use Scrambly, and how we are going to integrate the offerable within the context of our internal engagement marketing and retention marketing strategy. So those are the questions I would be asking an offerable monetization provider.
It's really interesting, right? Because that's what I was thinking about as I was prepping for our conversation, right? Like, how does this integrate into live ops? What's the integration into any segmentation or messaging tools that you might have or something like that? And there's something that if you're going to do an offer wall right inside your app, it needs some level of understanding about who my users are, what they do, what they're interested in, what segments they might be part of, that sort of thing. And it's almost like you've got this technology from the offer wall side moving into the space that you have some of these live ops tools, these segmentation tools, these messaging tools going into. Is that an accurate perception, Alex?
Yeah, so basically we are very much data driven. So we segment, we make a lot of different cohorts of our users. We see how they behave. We use like a robust product analytics system, we use Mixpanel, which is similar to Amplitude. A lot of people use Amplitude. And then we see how those users behave, what kind of offers, what kind of games, what kind of apps they prefer, etc. So ideally, we would want to personalize offerable experience specifically for different cohorts, for different segments. Why? Because our app implies and also provides an opportunity to users to profile themselves, to complete a profile survey where they actually share their preferences, their demographics, etc. So they're going to be expecting an handpicked selection of offers, personalized experience. And I see why we shouldn't be doing this as well for an offerable. So that's a hard question. I don't think a lot of offerables would be able to provide such a solution. But if an offerable was to convince us to put an offerable within our app, this is something I would ask them for sure. Like how they would personalize experience based on different cohorts of users that we have within our app.
Massimo, I want to ask you about the proliferation of loyalty apps and offer walls. Alex and I were just at MAU, Mobile Apps Unlocked in Vegas a month ago or something like that. And it seemed like there were 50 different companies there with an offer wall or some kind of loyalty solution. Why is that just exploding right now? Why is that whole space growing so fast?
That's definitely an interesting question. So I think there are maybe 50 or more and new ones popping out every week or so.
Every week.
Probably every week. I think it's a good sign for the industry. I still think there is a lot of space in our industry, in the rewarded part of the performance marketing for more players. And I think the main reason is because there's a lot of advertisers, a lot of clients, brands, which are tapping into rewarded right now. Probably this has been starting or getting bigger after the iOS 14.5 update, when basically Apple kicked in the concept of privacy, of user privacy. Google is going after that as well. And the more those systems are getting more precise in protecting user privacy, I think the less big network like Meta and others will be able to target effectively. If they're not able to target effectively, this means like increasing in customer acquisition costs. That's why for your UA strategy, you're now looking not to have just one or two channels, but you're looking to have like 10 or more live at the same time, which essentially I think it's crucial to have a very solid UA strategy. We've been learning that even big corporation can be affected by changes. Nobody expected that before, but that's actually what it is right now. And at the same time, I think like gaming publisher, they also learn how important is the user base and the data they have on their own users, instead of just buying again the user from a platform. So let's say they launch a new game, they don't want to start from zero, they want to have a community, which is really important because in the end of the day, the community is your value, no? So essentially, I think that's one of the reasons why we're seeing more and more on the user side, they like it. Users love to get rewards, love loyalty system. If you think about the offline world, like loyalty program in retail has been around for decades, you know. So I think essentially it's the same into mobile and digital.
I think there's definitely a segment of users and players that are interested in that sort of thing, and there's also a segment of users and players who just like, let me play the game.
Definitely.
And I in the retail world, I'm the person who's like, no, I don't want your loyalty program. My wife is like, yes, I do. And so I'm like always signing up under her or saying I'm her or giving her phone number or whatever, those sorts of things. It's really interesting to have this chat with you guys in 2024 because I'm going to look back in time for a moment because I'm remembering, does the name App Gratis ring a bell with you guys?
Yeah,
Does the name Simon Dollat ring a bell with you guys? Exactly. So we're talking 2008. We're talking 2008 here, right? We're talking, the App Store has just been launched, a year ago or maybe even that year, that sort of thing, right? And Simon Dollat comes out with this idea of, you know what, I'm going to give this, there's a new way of doing discovery. I'm going to put, I don't think he called it an offer wall, but he put in something into apps so that they could add in that was like, hey, you should try this app. You should try this app. You should try this app. And his app got banned by Apple for essentially reproducing App Store type functionality.
App Store.
He had just raised like $15 million. I did some of the first stories on him when I was writing at Venture Beat, and I did the stories on him when Apple banned him, and that was a big deal at the point. Times have changed a little bit since then, haven't they, Alex?
Absolutely, they have. So I remember like 6-7 years ago, whenever like a word rewarded or incentivized would pop up, advertisers would be saying, "No, this is fraudulent. We don't want that." I was like, "Why? Could you please elaborate?" They would be saying, "Look, it's like fraudulent users. They are motivated to do like a specific action because essentially incentivized and reward inventory was used only to drive volume, to boost keyword rankings on app stores." And just a few companies, like big companies back in the day, the first offer walls, like Fiverr and Topjoy, they were like the biggest ones like 7-8 years ago. And they started doing like these multi reward campaigns when they started engaging users with deeper in-app actions. And advertisers started seeing value in this. And it doesn't really come to the quality aspect of it, but also to the economy of it, because it was cheaper and it was easier. They charge you on a CPA, and the whole thing, the whole rethinking of potential value in reward inventory started just when Fiverr and Topjoy introduced multi-reward campaigns. And then, of course, a job popped up with Playtime, and everything just started there, and this just started widespreading, and we have like 50, perhaps maybe more solutions.
Massimo, when I think about the modality of acquiring users via an offer wall, a loyalty type solution, to me, the loyalty piece, sure, it's there. The offer wall piece, yeah, that's the mechanism. But to me, it's just about, if I'm buying ads, I'm buying users this way, it's just about an opportunity to get people in my app or in my game, let them experience it, hope they love it, and stick. It's just another way to do that. Am I wrong? Is that simplistic?
No, it's essentially correct. Just another way of driving users to your app or game, and having them creating a funnel for them so they're able to discover all the different mechanisms of your app or game. Think about an offer wall like a user acquisition solution, but it's also an engagement solution at the same time, because it doesn't stop when the user installs your game. It follows the user journey for 30, 60, 90 days, depending on the funnel, up to 90 days, most of the times. So it's there to guide the user through the different things you can have in the game or the app. Like a tutorial, essentially, but a rewarding one. And I also think that is very interesting to see how companies are acquiring from offer walls, because there are very few companies that are using only offer wall rewarded solution for the UA. What I always suggest is having like a variety of sources at the same time, which will bring the strategy more solid and scalable, definitely. But fun thing that you mentioned, Simon, and App Gratis back in the days in 2008. There was another era, definitely, and I think App Gratis was one of the apps that essentially started this a while ago. They didn't give any rewards or point to the user, but they were giving deals to the user.
Yes, exactly. And it's another example of how, as an entrepreneur, timing is everything. So they were there, they were doing something cool. It was growing like crazy, and they got their knees cut out from underneath them, unfortunately. And yet here we are today, and people are doing very similar things, and it's all good. It's all fine. No worries. Alex, maybe close us off here. People are looking at offer walls. Yeah, actually, before we close off, I want to ask a question. And it's related to what Massimo just mentioned. He said, hey, it's a good idea to have a diversified growth strategy, a diversified user acquisition strategy. And so some of that is going to be traditional ads. Some of that's going to be playable. Some of that's going to be video ads. Some of that's going to be some organic type stuff. And some of that's going to be cross promotion, whatever. And offer walls, Massimo suggested, is a good component of a balanced user acquisition growth strategy. How many apps do you think are using it, Alex? Of apps that are in growth mode, what percentage of apps might be using OfferWall right now? Is it close to 80%? Is it closer to 20%? Do you have some sense of that?
So what we see lately, it's been just booming a lot. So a lot of big players, they're just so much open to testing offerables, and what we're seeing right now, they're working with multiple ones. Because working with an offerable or working with the loyalty app, you don't work with a wide open supply. You work with the one single community. Because, for instance, if you work with Misplay, you don't work with like a big SDK that is integrated everywhere. You're working with a Misplay app that has their own community. I cannot give you any precise numbers, unfortunately, but we're seeing that anybody who I would talk to, they are either using it or they know about this and they're about to do that.
Interesting. Massimo, would you agree? Would you have any other sense of what percentage of actively growing apps are using this technology?
I do agree with Alex, but at the same time, I think that if we're talking only about gaming, essentially we see more and more brands that are tapping into Offerwall and loyalty right now. But if we talk about apps and brands in general, I think we are still very early stage. So probably 15 to 20% of the brands that are in growth stage, they have an app, are tapping into that opportunity right now. That's why we do believe
I'm
there's
just
gonna
lucky to talk to right people.
there's gonna
Sorry.
be a lot of growth in the future for sure.
Excellent. Very, very cool. Well, thanks so much, guys, for spending a little bit of time chatting about offer walls, how they work, what they do, who's using them, and their purposes. It's one of those things in mobile that you can use for a lot of different things in a lot of different places and a lot of different ways. Do appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, John.
Thank you, John. It's been a
That was
pleasure.
amazing.